All right, hey everybody. I've got a phone here that I've been meaning to get to for a while. It's from Susan. I was hoping to call up and talk to Susan live about her phone. I gave her a call. She isn't around right now, but she might call in, so we'll listen up for that. So nevertheless, Susan, you're up. We're going to finally give a shot at recovering this phone. Now, Susan's phone jumped out at me for a video because of this line in her note. Let's read her note. Here is the note under the hand cam. So, issue description. Susan got up one morning and her phone would not turn on. So this is sort of a sudden, out of the blue, sudden death. She took it to the Apple store and he tried to make it come on by depressing 2 keys at the same time. That's a good trick if your phone just needs a hard reset, but not if it has a short circuit like Susan's does. This did not work. So they tried pressing power and home, didn't help. He said, I'm sorry, that's the end of the line for Apple controlled repair. I cannot help you if pressing the power and home button doesn't fix it. Ain't nothing gonna fix it. Would you like to see a new phone? Showed me their latest line of iPhones. So then Susan took another trip over to AT&T to see if they could help her. And AT&T at least said, hey, we know who can. You break, I fix. So then Susan got back in the car. Susan went over to You Break, I Fix. You Break, I Fix is franchise chain cell phone repair. And they opened up her phone and plugged in a new battery to rule out parts. So good job, rule number 1. They tried a new battery and that didn't work. They referred Susan to a company in a data recovery place in California. So they referred her to Drivesavers. And they also said, good job, You Break, I Fix, that there was a lady on YouTube named Jessa Jones. That's me. So she called up Drivesavers, and Drivesavers gave her a quote ranging from $700 to $1,900. That's the standard answer. If you call up Drivesavers and say something iPhone data recovery, they'll say that'll be $700 to $1,900. And that's what really jumped out at me and said to expect the higher amount. So $1,900 quote. I am 100% sure that if you actually send this dead iPhone to Drivesavers, they will say $1,900. And you'll see in another video why that is. So this case, Susan's case, I wanted to just share with you guys that you know when you send your phone to the place that has invested $2.5 million into a clean room, you know, they're going to be making that money back. Now, I think it's kind of unbecoming and it's tough to sort of criticize how other businesses do business. Everybody's entitled to do business. And I certainly understand that there is a lot of truth in the argument of, I'm going to charge you $2,000 to tap a nail on the head. It's $1 to tap the nail, and it's $19.99 to know which nail to tap, right? That's perfectly sound logic. You know, but on the other hand, I think that sometimes that can go too far. So for us, just to be crystal clear, we're going to charge Susan $300 to recover this phone if we're able to recover it. And some of you might think, that's crazy. That's an insane amount of money. And you're absolutely right. That is a lot of money to recover the data that's on this phone. Now, our service, just to know, will come with data parsing. We're going to parse out all of her pictures and videos and notes and messages and contacts and put all that together in separate folders along with the iTunes backup and send that to her on a USB drive. You know, so there's some little bit more work than just what we're going to do now. I'm sure Drivesavers would do the same thing, but I want you to know that you can absolutely find somebody that will do it for even less than what we do. Some people might think we're charging crazy money, but let's get down to it because I think that it is really, really, it's almost prohibitive to quote everybody $1,900 regardless of what's actually wrong with their iPhone. So let's see. Let's start with opening it up. So I've already taken the screws out, which I usually do on these jobs that we're going to do on stream. All right, let's see. Great to see a stream, says Travis. Thanks. Thanks for watching. All right, so we're going to just take this apart. And inside here, I do not see any water damage, so we're going to just take the board out. And I'll show you under the microscope. So housing looks like a very normal 6S plus. Little bit of a crack on tempered glass only, but otherwise seems pretty okay. And we're going to take a look under the microscope. And let's see. Let's get under the microscope. I've been teaching all day. It's 9 p.m. and I am ready for a serious nap. So let's try to get this one done and get Susan some good news. So this is live, and hopefully it's gonna work out. No water, nothing remarkable as we look at the board under the microscope. Nothing remarkable. And we can peel up the stickers, peel up the other sticker. No water, no burn marks. I don't see anything that would really indicate any kind of problem. So physical exam, boring, not remarkable, nothing going on. Okay, so now let's move over to the DC power supply, and we're going to check out and see what happens when we plug this phone into DC power. So let's set this back up and check it out. Here we go. Now, I think that people get the wrong impression from the channel. You know, every phone isn't easy and every phone isn't recoverable, but one like this probably is. I hear the fan. Do you hear the fan from the DC power supply? I see crazy high current consumption as soon as I connect a voltage into the battery connector. What does that mean? That means that there is a short circuit to ground either on the battery rail or the main power rail. So because history says it's usually the main power rail, let's check the main power rail with a multimeter. So we're going to use the iPad Rehab trust-based multimeter where you can just trust when I tell you exactly what does it say. So let's go back under the microscope so that we can get a good spot. Everybody's got to pick their favorite spot on VCC main. And here's my favorite spot right here, these two little dudes. So let's check one side and the other. And it sounds like we have low resistance to ground on both sides. The ground side is ground, and the line side is also talking to ground. There's a path to ground on main. There's a leak. There's a hole. There is no way that the main power rail can withhold any electrical pressure. It's just going to leak right out through wherever the hole is. But where's the hole? I don't know. Somewhere, some component on this beautiful looking board is a secret wire to ground. Where is it? I don't know. Let's use good old-fashioned, haven't used this for a while. We're going to try to find the short to ground using, remember this good old freeze spray, beloved freeze spray. Now here's how I use freeze spray. This is some old school, you don't need to pay $1,900 techniques to figure this out. You do not need to work with a $2.5 million clean room to do iPhone data recovery. That's kind of the point here. So I'm going to use two strategies. One, Jess's face. Number two, the freeze spray to see if we can figure out where the short circuit is on this otherwise beautiful looking board. All right, so here's how this works. I'm going to connect the board here. Let's go back. Let's do hand cam. I'm going to connect it. Here we go. Connect it to the DC power. All right, I got my short ready to shorten. Now I'm going to know just from experience that the thing that gets hot is the thinnest wire. So because our short is on main, we're always going to get hot here down at the MOSFET. So we're going to just ignore that. I'm going to put my face on the rest of this board, just like this. Watch, this is what I'm going to do. This is my, you don't need a clean room to do data recovery. I'm going to try to figure out, just using my face, what side or what relative area is the second hottest spot. Let's see. MOSFET's definitely hot. Let's try over here. MOSFET is hot. The whole bottom of the board is getting pretty warm. Yep, something else is hot around here in this area. So Jessa's face, the face detection method, it's a little bit of a blunt tool, but I think that something up here is the actual cause of the short. But let's drill down on that. We're going to use good old-fashioned freeze spray to see if we can actually bring that up and find what component on the main power rail that looks beautiful is actually a wire to ground. So let's find out. All right, first class canceled due to snow and now an iPad Rehab stream. Yes, I wish we had some snow. We have like brown winter in Rochester, which is totally unheard of. It's very depressing, actually. Okay, here we go. We're going to go under the microscope, and I'm going to show you the area that my face said is going to get hot. I think I should retitle this stream. I'm always, for you guys that are live, I love to hear what would be a better title for these streams, because I just kind of make this up here at the end of a 12 or 14 hour day, and I don't know, but I think maybe can your face beat a $2.5 million clean room? Maybe. What do you think? All right, here's the deal. My face said that this sort of large, broad section of the board, not down here. You know, the MOSFET definitely was getting hot, but I'm going to ignore that and say something else. And I think it was something kind of right around the PMIC. Hopefully not the PMIC. That'll put me here longer than I want to be tonight. And then I probably will wish that I charged $1,900 for this job. So let's see. Next step, we are going to freeze it down. Here comes winter. Here comes winter. Look at that. It's snowing. Yay! Let's make it all wintry. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful winter wonderland. Now somewhere around here, we're going to look. All right, let's all look. What is getting hot? What is getting hot? Something somewhere. Probably. Ah, I see it. I see it. Do you see it? Do you see it? It's that guy for sure. Look at that guy. Ding. We have a winner. Let's watch again. Let's do it one more time. This time, all eyes on that tiny little cap. He's the bad guy. My face plus a little shot of Super Cold available at store.ipadrehab.com. You too can use your face and a can of freeze spray to substitute for a $2.5 million clean room and help people save some money. All right, let's see. Let's do that. It's not quite as crispy and snowy as I like it. There we go, a real ski slip. All right, now let's watch that guy and see, does that guy actually melt before everybody else? Watch, watch, watch. Look at that. That is so crystal clear. That guy. There he is. That guy. I'm sorry. That guy right there. See him? See him? All right. So there we go. That guy is getting hot because inside that capacitor, the wires have crunched together, making him turn into a very thin wire to ground, and therefore a thing that's going to get hot when we apply a voltage to that circuit. Next step, all right, now we actually have to get rid of the short. We have to relieve the short. We have to get rid of that inappropriate wire to ground, and that's what we're going to do right now. That's really funny. I was asking Sunday to try to get Susan to pick up the phone, and she said that her phone's going to voicemail. If she's like my dad, she turns her phone off at bedtime, and she's probably went to bed. I need to go to bed, so I get it, Susan. Hopefully you'll see this in the morning then. We're going to try to relieve that short circuit. Now, how are we going to do that? Now, getting this guy out is going to be a real challenge because it's not just soldered on the board there. It is completely surrounded with underfill. So that's a little bit challenging, especially because it's really cold now with freeze spray. But we're going to try to do it in the safest way possible, which does not involve any kind of fancy equipment. We are going to relieve your short, Susan, with an X-Acto knife. So we're going to use an X-Acto knife because I really think that an X-Acto knife is the safest way to remove a component that's really surrounded around with other things that really don't want to be bothered. So I'm going to put a little bit of low hairdryer heat in that area to try to loosen some of the surrounding underfill, that super glue stuff, and see if we can rock that cap, kind of jiggle it out like an old man's tooth. So at just low hairdryer heat, we're going to try to dig out. Look at that. You can see a little solder ball. That's kind of a telltale sign. We're going to dig out some of this filling. There we go. Bing! And we extracted that tooth. Now, let's check to see, was that actually it? Was that indeed the culprit? Was that the reason why Susan's phone had a short circuit on the main power rail? If so, when we go back to our canary caps on the main power rail, they will no longer be short. Let's find out. Could it be true? All right, we're going to use the truss-based multimeter again. All right, and let's find out. One side is ground, and the other side is no longer ground. Look at that. 0.307. Yay! All right, so that problem is now solved. Is that the only thing that was wrong with Susan's phone? I don't know. But so far, we have used my face, an X-Acto knife, and a $30 can of freeze spray, 2 shots of freeze spray, to get this phone to not have a short circuit. So now, let's see, is that enough? Is that enough to bring Susan's phone back from the dead? All right. And we will find out. So let's see if we can pull this over. And we're going to kind of loosely assemble it here in her own housing because there's no water damage and there's really no reason to think that there's anything wrong with this housing. Now, it would be best to use a known good housing, but this is kind of the can we save money and show you guys that, yeah, you absolutely don't need fancy stuff to do a job like this. So we're going to find out. All right, let's plug in loosely, at least. Let's plug in our screen and see if we can get an Apple logo. And let's see. Please like and subscribe. Yes, please do like and subscribe. I like it when you like and subscribe. All right, let's see. It's getting hot in here. Take off your cap, says Scott. Hey, Jessa, if after you relieve the short, it gets stuck in DFU and fails to update at 19%, where do we look next? You look at their phone number so that you can call them up and say, I'm really sorry that your phone is not recoverable for data because you have corruption of the NAND. Now I want you to do an experiment since you asked me that, N8's Tech Services. Nate's Tech Services. I want you to take the NAND off of a device and then do exactly that. Put it on 3U tools and try to restore, even though it has no NAND. See what happens. What does 3U tools do in that scenario? And report back. And I bet you'll be surprised what you find. All right, let's see. Okay, so here we have a lot of struggle to connect the home button for no reason. And we've got the screen connected and we've got the battery connected. So let's prompt it to boot. We're going to prompt it to boot. We should use the DC power supply because this battery may be dead. Maybe not though. We'll see what happens. All right, prompt. And look at that. I see the charge me. There we go. It's an Apple logo. Let's back it out a little bit. There we go. Now, will it boot? Will it be good news for Susan? We're crossing our fingers for you, Susan. Will it boot or will it loop like Nate's phone That would be bad news. That would stink. All right, what was the issue with this phone? Yay! The issue with this phone is that Susan was quoted $1,900 to get this phone to turn back on just like it just has. And we were able to make it turn back on using a can of freeze spray, my face, and an X-Acto knife. No $2.5 million clean room required. Now let's see if Susan's got her passcode over here. Let's check it out. We have touch. Boom! There we go. Look at that, Susan. There's all your data. Yay! It's going to be great news for you when you wake up tomorrow and you see this stream that we were able to recover your phone. You made the right choice by choosing to send your phone to a lady on YouTube named Jessa Jones so that I can recover your data using freeze spray, X-Acto knife, and my face. Saving you $1,600, Susan. That's got to feel good. All right, so the rest of you guys, I just wanted to point out that, you know, you gotta sometimes look around and maybe get a second opinion. And if you got a quote for $1,900 from Drivesavers, you might want to look around a little bit before you send your phone off. That's all for this time. I'll see you next time.